and welcome to Read Us a Story. What shall we read today? How about Thomas the Tank Engine, Race for the Sodor Cup? It was the day of the Sodor Cup race. Kana was looking at the race poster when Thomas, Naya and Percy pulled up alongside her.
"I wish I was fast like you, Kana, so I could race for the Sodor Cup,"
said Thomas. "You're fast, Thomas," Kana replied, "but to win the Sodor Cup, you have to be super fast. With Kenji as my partner, I can't lose." Later, another race team whizzed into Sodor. Thomas was excited when he spotted the two brightly painted engines gleaming in the sunlight.
"There's Riff and Jeff," he cried. "They won the Around the World race last year."
Kana started to feel nervous about the race.
"Why don't I give you a tour of the race course?"
Thomas peeped. He explained that the teams would need to make deliveries around Sodor in the fastest time. Kana and Kenji zipped off to practice their race route. They rattled down the winding track of the famous Cannonball Curve.
"Oh no! Kana was going too fast!"
"Kana, slow down!" Kenji cried. Kenji used his speed to catch up to the runway train. Just as Kana was about to lose control, he coupled to the back of the engine and slammed on his brakes. Screech! The wheels shrieked and sparks flew as the train slowed down and shuddered to a halt. But the damage had been done. The metal of Kenji's fender crumpled in front of him. The engines headed to the maintenance yard, but it was bad news for Kenji. A new fender would take weeks to arrive. I don't think I can race," Kenji said sadly. At that moment, the third team rolled into the yard, followed by Diesel. "Ooh, guess you're both out of the race," Verona and Federico sneered. "Not that we care who we beat." "I'm not out the race yet," Kana replied. "Thomas will race with me." Thomas wasn't so sure. What if he wasn't fast enough? And what if he lost the cargo they would have to carry in the race? Their friends agreed to help them practice. But it wasn't easy. The engines had different strengths and different speeds. They had to learn how to work together. Thomas and Kana were finally improving, but when Verona and Federico rolled up, "I thought we were supposed to be fast," Verona teased. "I am fast," Kana cried. "Enough training. I'm ready to race." She zoomed along to Cannonball Curve to prove them wrong. Thomas watched in alarm as the three engines raced towards a sharp bend on the mountain. Suddenly, Verona and Federico slammed on their brakes, but Kana didn't brake quickly enough. "Oh no!" she shouted as she sailed off the tracks and over the mountain. Verona and Federico laughed. "Ha ha 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 ha! Better luck next time," they said. The next day, Thomas and Kana lined up at the start of the race. Toot toot! They were off. Verona and Federico took an early lead, closely followed by Riff and Jeff. But Thomas and Kana were at the back. Percy was watching the race from the top of a cliff. He saw the truck wobble and its boxes fall onto the track in front of Thomas and Kana. "I have to warn them!" he cried. He sent up a smoke signal just in time. Thomas and Kana were able to avoid the fallen boxes thanks to Percy. Next, Thomas and Kana took a shortcut across a rickety bridge carrying a freight car full of hay. "We did it!" Kana cheered when they reached the other side. Then they headed into an old mine. On the rails above, Kana spotted Riff and Jeff. A piece of track was missing and they were stuck. "Do you need any help?" Thomas called out, but Riff and Jeff shook their heads. "You two just go on and win that cup," Jeff tooted back. Thomas and Kana made it out of the mine and picked up their final cargo, a freight car full of ice cream. Further along the track, Verona and Federico had just crossed a drawbridge when they spotted Thomas and Kana.
"Let's slow them down a bit,"
said Verona. The pair broke the signal box, so the drawbridge was stuck open. Meanwhile, Diesel was watching the race and saw Verona and Federico cheat. He raced to tell Percy and Nia what had happened. "We've got to warn Thomas and Kana," Diesel said. But they were going too fast to stop.
"There's no other way to cross!"
Thomas cried. Then he saw Bulstrode the barge approaching the drawbridge. He had an idea.
"Follow me!"
Thomas called to Kana. Together, Kana and Thomas used Bulstrode as a bridge to cross to the other side. "Woohoo!" Kana cheered.
"That was amazing!"
Thomas and Kana raced on to the final part of the race. They were catching up to Verona and Federico. "They're about to pass us!" shouted Verona. "Go faster!" The pair hurtled down the cannonball curve. At the final moment, Thomas and Kana hit their brakes, but Verona and Federico didn't stop in time. "Ah!" they cried as they zoomed off the track. Splat went the ice cream, flying out of the freight car and landing all over them.
"We did it!"
Thomas and Kana said excitedly. They had won the Sodor Cup. Their teamwork had paid off. "Working together put us on the right track," said Kana. "In the end, it doesn't matter if we go fast, as long as we go together." Hooray for Thomas and Kana. And that was Thomas the Tank Engine. Race for the Sodor Cup. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, be sure and like the video. And remember, you can always subscribe to the channel at Read Us a Story. Thanks. Bye!